Hmm. Hi, Darren. My name is Juanita. I am a mental skills consultant. What this means is I have completed my master's degree in SPP. I am an intern in sports performance and psychology, and I am now pursuing my hours towards my licensure. Before I begin, I would like to go over some guidelines. So, everything we discuss during this session is confidential. However, there are just a few um, exceptions to this rule. I am an associate trainee, so I do consult on cases with my director slash supervisor to make sure I am providing you with the best clinical care. I'm a mandated reporter, which means I am required by law to report any incidences of child or elderly abuse you may be you may have disclosed, whether it is current or not, or historical. And then I will always break confidentiality I will also break confidentiality if it is determined that you are a danger to yourself or others. So I would like to ask you what brings you in.
What's bringing me in is that I have a very important musical hearing at the end of this month. A hearing is for senior music majors in college. We sit in front of a panel of three judges. The judges are usually the heads of our program. So, my private instructor, a teacher, and then usually a different music leader or another teacher, or sometimes even like one of the head honchos or directors of the program. And they all sit there and critique me while I play out my repertoire for them. So every senior has to pass the hearing and do a senior recital to graduate. And to pass this hearing to get to your senior recital, basically those three gentlemen or ladies need to tell you, yes, you've passed your hearing, you're allowed to go on and perform your senior recital to graduate. So all of my college work and practice hours and everything depends on me passing this hearing first to be able to get my diploma. It is insanely stressful, and they're directed to stare very blankly at you so that there's no reinforcement or encouragement. And it's a lot of pressure in a dead silent room where only you are performing and that's it. While they're making notes about you, checking things off or writing things down, and just judging you the whole time without any supposed to be without any emotion. So it's super stressful, super tense, and causes a lot of anxiety because it's just me going to be sitting there in front of those three heads of my program playing my music. And it's just super stressful.
Okay, so do you have any towards emotion, like emotion, feelings? Are you afraid of something per se, or
I get pretty psyched out about it. And I'm really afraid to be told that I suck and all my years of practice sucks and I can't graduate. So it does psych me out. It's really, really, really stressful trying to balance practicing for this and a social life and all my homework. And I'm dealing with a lot of other personal things that it just makes this hearing super, super hard. And I get really angry about it. It's affecting my schoolwork and my relationships. And all the time practicing, sometimes I feel like it's not even worth it. And that, I might not be good enough, which is really different for me because I'm a very arrogant player. But this is just something that super stresses me out. When I get up to perform, and especially during a circumstance like this, I have a bit of stage fright where my hands will start shaking, which makes playing guitar, especially classical guitar, really, really hard, or they'll get really cold. Um, but it's really the shaking and the loss of feeling that affects my work.
I have a couple follow-ups on what you're saying. So, have you ever been told that you suck, or is this more of a you're telling yourself you suck?
This is just some not so great self talk when it comes to that. I'm always encouraged, and I know I'm a really good player, but this is just a very uncommon circumstance that you have to play in. Like probably never again besides auditions are you ever faced with people having to dead stare at you and critique your work and whether you can pass college or not. So I've always been encouraged and told I'm really good. but I get afraid for this.
Okay, so nobody's technically ever told you you suck.
No.
It's just maybe your preference on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's not going to be good enough to pass.
And your hands getting cold. Have you always had that numbness or that loss of feeling?
For me personally, I've talked to my trainers about this, or my instructors, and it happens like 50% of the time, maybe like 40, 60, 60, I'm always like good, fluent, confident. And then 40% of the time, I may or may not experience that form of like anxiety when I hit the stage. But after I've been on stage for a while or playing my music for a while, it does fade away.
Okay.
But like, it's just those initial couple like pieces that I'm playing first kind of don't sound as good because my hands are being affected.
Okay.
Or I'm in my head thinking that it's not good.
But in actuality, our belief system can actually affect how we play or how we perform. So, I want you to know that your core belief is not always. You can always change it. So it's not. I know graduation is very important, and you need to graduate. But I feel like you're already putting in the time, and you already know your craft. So I feel like it's not the end of the world. You will graduate. I feel like you will pass and you will do fine. So you can do your performance or your recital. So, um, what do you think it's costing you, like consequences wise? You said relationships, grades.
Yeah, it's making me really just turn into a ball of stress. And I think my friends have been like kind of lashing out on over it, and my relationship to my girlfriend, or it's kind of taking away a lot of time just stressing out about it or performing, that like all these finals coming up are getting to be really hard, and my time management's a little off because I'm spending all my hours of the day practicing on this instead of like being nice and friendly or writing out my essays or studying for finals.
So our consequences are obviously they're a big key in like how we operate, but I feel like again your core belief and your consequences are overlapping each other. So I feel like you can obviously uh, I feel like your consequences can and your emotions are overbearing you and your life at this time, and that your worth is so much better than all the stress that you are putting on yourself. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so we're gonna do a little exercise. So the times that you um, are in your head or you're starting to lose that kind of assurance, um, are there any particular words that go through your mind, or like you said, you suck, but I mean, these are your words, not somebody else's, correct?
Um, so me imagining sitting myself in front of that panel of judges is kind of just like that holy crap feeling going through my head over and over and over again. Like telling myself, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out. And that's kind of like all I focus on instead of the music I'm playing. So that'll happen a lot. And just the fact that it's really tense. You can cut the tension with a knife in that room when it's going on. And as well as like a lot of talk about, or self-talk about, needing like your graduation depends on this. Don't mess up. Kind of stuff.
Do you, we're focusing a lot on like the bad, or what you would consider bad, but like, do you have any good thoughts or good experiences where you were in the situation before, or you put yourself in the situation, or that
It's
you
kind of hard to positively self-talk when I'm so focused in front of the people judging me. But when I perform it in front of friends or anything, it's a lot easier, and I feel a lot more confident.
maybe you
And then I get a lot of support from them as well.
well, maybe you can kind of picture them when you are in front of these, directors or professors,
I like that.
teachers,
That would
and
help.
maybe just kind of pretend that they're your friends and don't think of it
Which
so.
they are. I know they're like huge supporters. They only want me to succeed. They've been teaching me for years, but it's really hard to remind yourself of that when you're in that particular situation because it's so
So
important.
the good parts, like you said, when you perform in front of your friends, um, and the good feedback that they give you, I want you to write down some of those words of encouragement that they give you, and I want you to start kind of maybe looking at them 3 times a day. Um, I want you to stop playing your instrument, do a little me time for you, and then go back into your workflow so that then you're relaxed. You're already visualizing your friends are your instructors are your friends, which you said they are anyways. So and you're doing all these things, and in a way you're just performing in front of your friends. So I want you to kind of go back, and if journaling helps, just kind of good thoughts, bad thoughts, if that helps you, maybe try to, if you feel like you're going towards the bad word or like a bad word that you might feel that this is how you're feeling in this moment, maybe contradict it with like, if I suck, like just maybe accept it right at that moment and be like, take your little 5 seconds, throw your little tantrum or whatever, come back, refocus, tap yourself, look at a spot in the wall or somewhere where you're at, grasp something that makes you refocus, and then that you can just come back and be like, okay, in this moment, I'm going to play this again, and these are my friends, and I'm just going to have fun with this. And sure. Do you have any questions for me or comments, concerns?
I like the imagining friends. That'll make me feel really supportive and making myself remember that they are my instructors that want only to see me do well and only to see me graduate, even though they might not be physically expressing it at the time or verbally expressing it at the time. Um, Keeping it in my head that like they're behind me too. They got my back. Well, that panel, like I know the judges and they're super stressful, but knowing that, reminding myself or making me remind myself that they have my back as well and only want to see me succeed. I'll do that. I'll start journaling and writing down all the positive self comment or comments that I give myself or have given myself, as well as like I'll play for friends some more and I'll write down their good feedback. Um, I think going over that list before every practice or whenever I'm doubting myself, or especially like right before that hearing, going through and reminding myself and seeing that list of all those positive things that I've been journaling down will really help ease me, will really help me
Just remember
relax.
why you picked up this guitar. Why are you doing music? Why are you fell in love with this for a reason. So obviously you know your craft. Just you have to remind yourself,
What's
this
so
is
good about
why,
it?
yeah, this is why I play for my friends. This is why I play for my instructors. This is why I play for my girlfriend. So we went over. We went over how I use the ABC model, which is attacking your problem and um, making sure that uh, we accept this problem, our core belief. We can choose to change it, um, and it doesn't mean that we cannot succeed. It just there is just no reason why you cannot be successful um, uh, and prepare to be successful, but don't have to be. And then we evaluated your consequences and distribution of belief. And you have some homework to do, and I will see you next week, and we will go over what your list is.
Yep. Thanks, Juanita.
No problem.